Oh, hang on, one sec.
He's disappeared again. He's desperate for you to start this without him.
Oh man, we've been talking for like half an hour already, the three
Yeah.
of us, and I still haven't got it started. So
Sorry. You get me on a subject and I'll just waffle.
no, it's fine. I'll blame it all on Jez and his chair.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. Welcome to the Redaction.
Yeah. All right, here he is.
Right, let's rock and roll.
Right, he's back. He's back. So we're gonna get going now. Redaction. We missed a week last week. We're back again. So what's this? Week 6 now. We're in. We're gonna look at week 5 and the week 6 games coming up. And we've got Alix with us today. How you doing, Alix?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me again. I'm not just Matt, and he's put different headphones on and shaved his hair. So
Yeah, yeah. Clay did point out that Matt does have the traveller attribute, and it's in full swing this week, and we just can't find him. We don't know where he is. So Alix.
No, Matt's got the travel lodge attribute.
yeah. I think he's at a party. I think he's picked a party over you guys basically, and he sent me in his stead.
Disgraceful.
Right,
How did you feel about that, Jess?
much better version.
Thank
Good.
you. Thanks. How
Right.
about that?
So we'll get going. I mean, I've only just clicked record, and we've been sitting around having a chit chat for 30 minutes with dropping some absolute gold. But there was no point recording it because it would all get redacted anyway.
Yeah.
So let's get going
Pretty
with
much redaction.
let's get going with our schedule for this week. So we're going to have a look at the week 5 games that have been picked out by anyone but me this week, and some good picks. So we'll start with the one where we've got some neutrality. Sundevils against the Scorpions. This was one of the ones I think that Jess suggested we have a little look at. I think it was a close one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
good
close.
game. Good game, this.
Ouch. 20-point quarter 4. Blimey.
Hawks were cruising it until that fourth quarter.
Well, to be fair, 13 in the third quarter as well. There was 33 points in the second half for the Sundevils. So I don't know what Nick said at halftime, but it just backfired.
Wow. That's one of those like Horlicks halftime chats, isn't it?
Yeah.
So well done, lads. That's it. All we have to do, does anybody fancy watching the Patriots Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl reel at halftime to see how that is?
It's the wrong sort of inspiration right there.
And
Dominated time of possession as well. That's the more like 40 minutes of possession.
Wow.
And and they had 26 first downs to 8.
Oh.
They absolutely dominated. And to rub salt in the wound, they came out with 3 injuries, including I think 2 E's.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the proper kick in the nuts for Nick. That was.
So was this just like quick turnarounds on a passing game or inappropriate?
I think it's special teams. I think it's because they're not. The Sundevils don't have like huge yardage anywhere really. Like the highest receiver got 106 yards on 6 catches and 1 touchdown. But it was just consistent short passing that just cut him apart.
So what happened in this second half then? So
I wonder how long the game over. I wonder if he has a game over. No, his defense was out the whole game. So
There was that fumble near their own goal line on 53, I think it was, where they got a quick score from. And then and then there was another one on downs, wasn't there?
Wow, yeah, let's have a look at that one. So that was
Oh, they didn't score from that though. They didn't score from that.
So they started on the 38 and scored. So they went 38 yards, 45 yards, 4 yards, 14 yards, 63 yards, 52 yards. So there was only 2 over the halfway line, and one of them was 2 yards over the halfway line.
There was a turnover on the 4-yard line or something.
When you said they didn't score from that, what do you mean they didn't score from that? What, Sundevils?
Yeah. Yeah, right at the end.
Right, okay. So he was.
But there was a turnover on the 4-yard line before that, earlier on in the half.
Yeah.
Where they got an easy score from.
See, this is the sort of game that you're just like, why bother?
Yeah, scroll up a bit earlier on in the second half.
It was the
hang on.
37th minute. Yeah, so he returned 71 yards, 5-yard touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
Jobs are good.
Oh, look, that's a special
Big
play.
return.
Finally, a good special play.
Pulls
Look at
off
that.
a special play for 71 yards. That's a proper special play, that is.
That is.
Yeah.
That's better than a 0-yard special play.
I did play my special play, but my team's not as good as the Sundevils on special teams, obviously, because I don't think mine came to anything. But
yeah,
I thought if I'm going to play it, I'll play it in this one against Matt, so that he can analyze it at some point.
Yeah, was your special play your returner just not soiling himself when he caught the ball?
I think my special play ended up about 7 yards, probably. That's what you get for not having special teams.
Well, that may go down as the best special team special play of the season, right there, 71 yards.
That's what a special play should be, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That's the
If
one
you're
you
play,
dream
if
for.
You've got one in a season to play, then you want it to be a proper chunk, return.
So, going on the kickoffs, the Scorpions kicker kicked for 436 yards, of which they were returned for 219 yards, giving him a net total of 217 yards of kickoff. So yeah, special teams won it. Like special teams just put him in insane field position constantly, and then just small drops down the field and touchdown.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, this is not the one you want to wake up to after Bob's dropped.
Yeah.
Good game for the neutrals, this one. A bit of everything.
I will. The only reason I asked about what the scoring one is because I noticed something in the game this time around when I was playing the Redcoats, but we'll come on to that. So end of half may not necessarily be an accurate depiction of what actually happened. But yeah, so a road win.
There was one drive at the end of half that went back 35 yards.
What for the Scorps was that?
Go to the end of the
Sundevils. 10 seconds to lose 35 yards. Nice.
Good going.
I don't think those timeouts were worth it, to be fair.
Well, that'll explain why there's not as much yardage on the board then as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Okay. So nice win for the Sundevils. Helps Nick get to his 5-5 again this season. So he's doing well.
Big road win. I bet Dave had to have a shower after that game. That 68% possession.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you come away with that? That's mad.
You have 32% possession and you have 8 first downs and you put up 40 points.
you somehow lose. It's criminal, isn't it? It's absolutely criminal.
Right, let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
Right, here we go.
Right.
Oh dear.
Talk us through it, Greg.
Talk you through it. Well, I tried something. Let's put it that way. We were talking about this a little bit, myself and Alix, about our rebuilding woes. And mine's defensive line at the moment. And when I'm playing the Redcoats, I thought, well, I need to throw as much of it as possible at the line. So I snuck in the old defensive override and played a five-man line for the whole game. What is it they say? Fuck around and find out. So
Yeah.
so I did a little bit of that this week, and I wasn't ready for it. Let's just put it that way. But it was
You
a lot closer.
definitely found out.
I definitely fucked around. I definitely found out that breakaways are still going to kill me. Because look at that. I mean, a 10.5 average, a 54-yard breakaway was his best one, but there was plenty of others that came along at the right place. Didn't expect it to be this close.
Basically, if he broke your line, then he was clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he broke your line.
He did, which isn't a surprise. One of my DTs was a free agent I picked up this week because I thought this is a great plan, but actually I don't actually have enough DTs. Let's go see what I can find. But running the numbers, it still looked a better option than the other ones I had, just because I haven't got much there. Yeah, this is the thing as well that I was talking about. So drive 7, end of half, that was a field goal, and drive 12, end of half, that was a field goal. So
Oh, okay.
so
First half he did well, but it was second half that he pulled away, wasn't it?
well, second half, I mean, it was close all the way. To be honest, it was 3 points in it at the half. Then it was a no score third quarter for both of us. I mean, this is the bit here: punt, punt, punt.
But you were winning up until the last quarter.
Yeah.
Was I?
Yeah.
That's not how I remember it. No, I was behind.
Ah.
Well,
I was behind.
You were behind.
okay.
But okay.
So I'd managed to get, I'd managed to force those 3 drives into a punt, which was completely against all of the breakaways that had been happening. So I'm like, okay, but I missed an extra point, and then I'm like, oh well, that's it. I'm fucked then. This is last second bullshit happening here. Not that I've been bitten by gridiron in the past, of course. And sure enough, it was drive down, get the score, and then it was I think he managed to get a 35-yard
57
kickoff,
yard.
what kickoff return?
Well, he started on the 64. If you're on about the final play of the game, he started on the 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 35 yards, 36 yards from if it was like in the end zone, he caught it. But then it was one run.
54-yard line plunge.
Yeah.
One run.
One run.
Oh, that's...
It's galling. That is.
Actually, it was 2 runs. So why does it only say 1 on... Oh, first downs. Right, okay. Yeah. So, yeah. If he could have just... If that level 5... Oh, if he could have just found it in him to step up. Trip up, Piper. Just take him out.
Just put your head in there. Get concussed. Doesn't matter,
You're getting dropped at the end of the season, mate. Like, just do something for it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was. I liked the idea. I the 5-man front, I think, was a very good idea against Brad's team because, like I was saying before we started this, Brad was the coach of the Generals before I took over when I first started in Gridiron, and he's got his principles, and the ground game is key for how he plays. And the 5-man front would have been, if you had just a few more levels, I think you would have come out better off. But yeah, unfortunately those levels weren't there, and Piper made you play. you played the kids against a full-grown bowling ball and got absolutely sacrificed.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, would I have thought I'd be this close this season? No. So all in
Yeah.
all, I can't be too disappointed on well, I am disappointed, but away from home, seeing how that played out and to be only 1 point away, quite happy with where we are. Know where the holes are. If I could get any coaching going, I might be able to fill them, but that's a different story. I don't
I
want to
mean,
moan about
Oh,
coaching.
we're going to talk about coaching. We could talk about coaching actually.
We'll come back to coaching.
yeah, we'll round about on that one.
We'll go on that. But positives from it. Gibbs having a storming first season on the pitch.
Annoyingly.
King's working out all right. So,
Annoyingly. I'm watching. I traded him King, and I'm watching King absolutely light up for the Spitfires, and I'm like, he was never this good for me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was we'll talk about that later on, but it was the O-line that's the big issue for me. So
yeah.
but it's good seeing it.
You need that wide receiver there, don't you? And Gibb is that wide receiver.
He's helped a lot by PER. Let's just leave it at the peripheral.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's
If
the
I
one.
could, if
Especially deep zone.
Henty Career could just get, he'd be a monster. He is a monster now, to be fair, but he'd be even more of a monster. But yeah, I'm watching Gibb have a fantastic season and be younger than my absolute king that I want him to be, and it's I'm a bit jealous.
Yeah, he's doing okay. He's doing okay. He just
That
needs to coach.
PER is worth however much it's worth, or, in terms of trading. If you've got the same player that's identical, but one's got PER and the other one hasn't, at whatever level, it adds another, X amount of picks or X amount of rounds on top of that pick, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's 100%. So valuable.
100%. It's I think with the entire, the whole of Gridiron is starting to understand that a little bit. With obviously someone did the breakdown last year, and we're seeing it across the board. Just the peripheral on these players makes a huge,
especially deep zone receivers.
Yeah, it's because I think when you build what I'm finding, when you build a deep zone team, you're accepting it's a 50-50 most of the time. When you throw that long bomb, you're like it's 50-50. But when you have peripheral, it's a 65-35 rather than a 50-50, because it edges you more in your favor just by what it brings to the table, and like how it counters a lot that the cornerbacks, and it helps that cornerbacks they're not really focused a lot. In my experience that I've seen so far, they're not really focused as much in like coaching or in drafts or whatnot. People pick up, if they can get a decent cornerback, they will, but they won't pay as much as they would for like other positions. It's not that it's frowned upon. It's like a secondary position that they don't really focus on. But yeah, PER.
Yeah.
Gibb is definitely looking like the man. It's a shame he's not the best first year rookie in the league at the minute, because of the Azteks.
God, yeah. He's doing all right. But yeah, I'm happy with the offense. So Brad had sent me a message earlier in the season going, "How the fuck are you 3-0?" I did some trading. What can I say? So they've got with so many, what is there? I probably took 50-ish players in 2 drafts to kind of like completely restart this team. You can't maintain that, so you've got to go and get some experience. And I'm finding just doing things slightly different order than I would normally do it. So, because retired down there, he probably will be by the end of the season. He's a good second quick wide receiver who's bumping the numbers as well. So it's all looking good on offense. It's just defense is still got a few big gaps in it. So
As
see how we
Matt
go.
would say, in Matt's absence, defense doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
what can you do?
And you want games like this. You want to see games like this. It's a great game.
Yeah. For the neutral, this was brilliant. I can see how you would suffer throughout it, but each quarter is back and forth. There's no one ran away with it in the third or the second. Is it's small margins, and for a team that had the first pick in last year's draft to be doing small margins against the Redcoats, it just shows you how far you've come. So yeah, annoyingly looking good.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, 4-1 going into the second half of the season. I can't be unhappy. Right. What was the other game that we had? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, the clowns.
Yeah. See,
Here
this
we
didn't
go.
go as well, and I didn't try anything here. I just wanted to survive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looks like we got a dead man walking then. Go on in, Alex. How was this one?
It went exactly how I expected it to. So the big thing with the Sharks at the minute is I've got an outstanding wide receiver. I've got a quarterback who is really finding his own in his first season. And I've got a running back who can get some numbers if their defensive line is as weak as yours. But outside of that, the O line it just doesn't have the levels to survive. Which is what I think Stewart has now been sacked 20 times in six games. We only got the one in this one, which I was super happy with. I'll take that. But it's a survival season. This was the big test. I was hoping we could push him closer than we did, and in the first quarter, there were a few plays we made, which I was thinking it was quite promising. But just one step too far too soon for us. It was the outcome I was expecting, a big blowout loss to the Stampede, but I kind of wanted a bit more. But I can't complain. Like Henty Career got over 250 yards against Champagne, who's meant to be brilliant. So, for a man who doesn't believe in defense, he really tried to shut down Henty Career, and Henty Career is just like, I don't care, I'm running, so I'll do what I want. And also his stopping a team that likes to run from running. Yeah, he got 5 yards a carry, which isn't great, but kept him to just over 100 yards. So I'll take that. It's the small things I can do at the minute. I have no special teams to talk of, so I'm constantly fighting from a long way back. So it takes a lot more for me to get anywhere near the end zone. So yeah, it was. I'm happy. I'm happy with the direction the team's going. I wasn't expecting us to get as many wins as we've got this year. There's been some surprises, which I've been super happy with. There's been mistakes on my part because this is the first year where I've not been throwing, so I've had to make decisions, and sometimes I've made the wrong one. But it's going in the right direction. This was just, it was what it was. I said Stampede would get to the bowl. I stand by that. I think they will. No disrespect to Dan's Razorbacks, I think they're an incredible team, but I think what Matt brought in the trade window, he brought it in, and what he already had there and the philosophies he uses, I think he's got a really good team. So I came out of it with something at least. I got points on the board. I'll take that.
The game was, stats wise, the game was much closer than the score suggests as well.
Yeah.
It was, it wasn't. It didn't appear to be a 2-3 score game. It was much closer. But red zone was where it
Yep.
was decided, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's I think red zone is, when you've got a deep zone team, the moment you get into the red zone, you're really relying on your running back and your offensive line to get you up the field, and I don't have that. So if Henty Career's not breaking through to the end zone, if he stops at the 20-yard line, I'm in a spot above her and I'm probably kicking a field goal. So
Yeah.
and Matt's got a strong D line. I know he's consistent. He always had a good D line. He doesn't let people run on him. So I knew I was in trouble from that stance.
Did you not give the reverse a go?
So the reverse, the one time it worked, I didn't even know I had it on. It was a legacy thing.
Right.
So the reverse has been there since.
He's got 2 touchdowns from the reverse, hasn't he?
Yes. So the reverse has been there since. I don't know if Richard Jackson put it on or if it was a manager before, but there are in the playbook for the Sharks. There's like 100 different plays that people have put in over the years. I don't know. Most of them are just inactive, obviously, because I only play ace. But so when I started the year, obviously I came in. I was like, right, I don't know fully the direction I'm going, but I'm going to tweak and learn as I go throughout this year. Wasn't expecting much. And then in the first game, he got that 80-yard reverse. So I was like, ooh. And then you guys brought it up and it was a big deal. And I was like, ooh, I wonder if I can make this work. And no, I tried it for the next few games. And I think, he got one more touchdown. It was like a 2-yard touchdown. But the thing with the reverse is you need a really experienced O-line. You need high levels across the entire O-line. And like I've said, my O-line's my weakness. So I don't have that. So the reverse is never going to work. I'll bring it back once the O-line has the levels, because I love the idea of a jet sweep running in or a reverse going in. So I will bring it back. But there's no point in me even trying now. I'm sacrificing what Alcala could do. He's a decent running back, for the hope that Henty Career breaks off for a 50-yarder.
Yeah, that's the bit I don't like about it. I'd like it if it was more of a kind of if you switch that boutique play on, you can set like a percentage chance of it running. But the fact that it's just, if you switch it on, that's all we're going to do for a sweep.
Yeah.
That's the bit for me. I'm like, do you know what? I can't be bothered with that. I'd rather take the chance of me only getting 3-point-something yards per carry when I need it on a 4th down or a 3rd down than it going nowhere with a sweep or with the reverse. But I'd love it if it was just a percentage chance of it going. I mean, you're always kicking at the wrong point, right? But at least you feel like you've got the option there for it.
I'd prefer it. I think it was the Magpies game that was the one that I was like, okay, hang on, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, because in that game, Alcala he averaged 6.9 yards. He had a fantastic game. But 13 of my carries I gave to Henty Career for 1.6 yards a carry. It was like, maybe I'm cutting off my nose to spite my face a little bit here. Yeah. And it was like, maybe I should just stop this. So I was like, I'm not doing it against Matt, because no, Matt's like D-line. He probably would have killed Henty Career for the season. So I was like, I'm not risking that. The last thing I want is him picking up an injury because of a reverse. So I sacked it off for the minute, but it will come back at some point when I can get those levels in. I'll bring it back, because I would love to see it be a success, because I think the idea is quite cool. But I agree with you. It should be, I can set a percentage that goes to the wide receiver compared to the running back, rather than it all be you select reverse. That's it. Every single one of those plays is going to be to the wide receiver.
But it should be that that low percentage play that will either get you, nothing, then 80 yards, on the odd play. It's that kind of low percentage, high gain kind of option, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit like a streak.
Exactly. But I just prefer it if the lows weren't 1 yard. Like, I'd prefer it if the lows were like 4 yards. So then
Yeah.
I can kind of accept having it in as an option play. But when it's 1 yard, and the difference in games, you're talking like 3 points or 4 points. It's like, hang on.
Yeah.
Let's take the
You're not going
Spurs
to
in
get.
for a little bit.
We're not going to get that though on a play though, are we? Where the lows are 4 yards and the highs are 80 yards, because you'd play that every time.
Yeah.
So
That's the
yeah.
dream. I'm living in a dream. So
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those. I say it is one of those plays. It'd be interesting to see what the numbers are on that sort of thing, on that kind of NFL basis of, is it one of those ones of actually the low is -5 yards when it doesn't go right because you're just getting caught in the backfield before you get anywhere. But if you get past that line of scrimmage, then you're talking 20s, your minimum.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers
Mm.
are. I'm trying to think of a team that uses it. Probably the Chiefs would be a good team to look at, because they use Worthy in a fair amount in jet sweeps, I think. So, but yeah, I don't. I've got no evidence to say there's a problem with it. It's just a case of I have no O line and I'm trying to run a speedy wide receiver through that O line that is weak anyway. So
yeah. But then you'll see some teams in this game where they don't have the O line, but they've got the level 25 halfback or the fullback, and they're still managing to get 4 yards of carry. So
yeah,
you're getting, if you're getting into that kind of, I've got a level 20 something wide receiver, why shouldn't you see that sort of return, even if you haven't got the O line? So
it's a fair comment. Yeah, it's a fair comment, but I've really noticed the negative massively weighs out. I think I want to say I've probably ran it 30 times across the games this season, and I've had one that went for the 80, and then since then, like 2 yards tops, maybe 4 yards for a touchdown was one. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's just not worth it in those, like with those small, like I said, the small margins in some games. You're like, it's costing you. And for a team like this, I don't need to be playing around with that just yet. I've got a lot of problems to fix, so we'll come back to it in the future.
right, so there we go. Another good learning experience there for you then, Alex. And when we come on a coaching, we'll have a little chat about Dev Squad Stew as well.
I know you're dying to talk about Dev Squad Stew, so we'll get through this bit quickly.
Yeah. Right, so let's have a look at week 6. So we picked a few games out. Which one do you want to start with?
Start at the top.
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to go with Bears against the
Bears
Nighthawks.
against the Nighthawks.
So I'm going to start from in here because this is the interesting division. So 3-2 plays 3-2.
Both of them still got a chance.
Both still a chance. That Mariners managed to beat the Bears this week to get that games difference, and those divisional games are going to be really big in this division, because they're going to be the tiebreakers, I think, here. So the Nighthawks are at home, and they have got the Bay Bears. Interestingly, they've got the Mariners next, and they've key gamed the Mariners game. So
Both at home.
yeah, this is going to be a good indicator about whether the Nighthawks are going to manage to do another 4th place turnaround, knocking on the doors for the playoffs potentially.
So on the assumption that the Razorbacks are going to win the division, which we probably all think that we are, not wanting to speak for anyone else, but I think they are.
Yeah.
Then this is the fight for the wild card spot, which is wide open between Mariners, Bears, and Nighthawks.
Yeah, definitely. And Nighthawks have definitely got a little bit more from what I've seen of what you consider a structured rebuild or a nuke. I don't know. Is it a nuke? Maybe it was. I don't know. He's reset the team.
Yeah,
Oathwaite,
it was a nuke, pretty much.
Frank was a first overall pick, I believe. Oathwaite, was he number 1? He was picked number 3 in season
Yeah.
37. So he is now the overall number 1 rusher in the league. And we got Frank, who was the first overall last season.
Mm.
Sticky hand super home streak. No perf though. Still a chance to pick it up though, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the guy I'd scouted him and I was hoping to pick him up, but unfortunately he didn't drop the 2. He went at 1,
Yep.
which was annoying. So yeah, so we got the running game is pretty much the Nighthawks go-to at the moment by the looks of it, but with that
Yep.
backup.
It's leading with the running game while the passing game develops.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then we've got the Bears who have taken a bit of a different approach. I can never work out if Kendall's rebuilding or not.
Well,
But
I think this
he
year
went deep in the trades this time around,
yeah,
didn't he?
I think this year he was hoping to push rather than it be a rebuild. I think he was expecting to really
Yeah, I think
push
he
'cause he
was
brought in
because he
was it Byers
traded
off of
Byers
you?
in from me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he picked up he got the strong tight end off of me, and he's built around that run game. From what I can tell, he built around that run game. But he's coming up against another run team, so defensively the Bears are better than the Nighthawks. So it may come down to can his defense hold off Oldthwaite enough
yeah.
to make a difference. So
Passing wise, they're not as strong for sure.
no, it's early days for the pass. The quarterback
So,
was picked up in season 37 as well. So
he's relying on Byers, and he probably wants to. He's probably trying to put some coaching into Byers to get him up another couple of levels. But because he was decent when I traded him, I think he was level. I mean, I had him on the trade window, so there was no. It's not. I'm not revealing anything by saying what level he was when I traded him. He was
16,
level 16, I think.
Yeah.
It was 16, I think, when I traded him. But he's only age 2 or something, so he's still, young enough to pump some coaching into and get him up to 20. So depending on how that's going, but we all know that's not easy to get pops in at that level. So yeah, he's
he traded in the QB as well, didn't he? I think he was on the board at, was he level 18?
he's not been great this season though. His quarterback rating's 49.
he's got 41% completion. That's
Yeah,
that's going to be costing him.
he's been pretty disappointing this season. So I don't know whether that's a reflection on Kendall's O-line, whether his pass protection is poor or he's been sacked 15 times. But yeah, 41% completion. You want more from a level 18 quarterback.
Average squad age is 2.8. So
Yeah, still young.
He's got a young team. Yeah, but it's you look at the Nighthawks defense and it doesn't look outstanding. So he could get away with it this week.
Yeah, let's have a look. See what the spread's looking like. So Bay Bears are down as an estimated spread of 6. Definitely got some buyers against Guthrie action going on, and vice versa. Injury wise, it doesn't look too bad. Don't know if that Samo or Labeik are special teamers or not. It might be. Let's have a little look. Yeah, all special teams injuries, so maybe not big problems for them. Okay, so anything else you want to take a look at before we have a little punt on a score for this one?
No, nothing for me.
Right. Right, Matt, standing.
I'm gonna go 30-16 for the Bay Bears.
Ooh.
That's nothing against Chris's team. I just think this might be a bit too much for his team. And his favourite defense is a 3-3, which against the run is always got its own problems. So
Jez.
Right, I'm going to drop it in early. I'm going 21-24 in overtime.
To who?
21-24, Nighthawks.
Right.
Yeah.
But OT, yeah.
OT, yeah. It's going to be a tight one.
That's what she said. Right.
Redact.
Greg Wallace.
We are.
Redact.
Redact.
Yeah, no, I was going to go very similar. I don't think it'll go to OT, but I'm going to take the same score.
I've let Matt down here, haven't I? Oh,
You
dear.
can't take the same score.
I
Well,
can
that's
because
nothing.
you. I
How
can 'cause
unimaginative is that?
I can because it was in my head, and you added an OT to it, so it's a completely different ball game, right?
Yep.
So yeah, but yeah, I think it's going to be Doit like a tiger. So or like
Sorry, Matt.
a Bay Bear. Yeah, I think it's going to be close. Could go 3 points either way. To be fair, I think it was a spread of 6, and I got a feeling Nighthawks could do that as they're at home. And the other thing I didn't double check, are they? Yes, they're both bitter rivals, so anything could happen in this one. Right, so I'll move on to the next one then, which is Azteks against Spartans. So Azteks are currently in what I would term to be nosebleed territory for them. They are 4-1 and at the top of their division, which I'm not sure I've seen this since I've been in the league.
Ian's got this team playing incredibly.
Insane.
I mean, it's consistent on
Look at
the
that. Since
history
season
there.
7, they finished first in season 7.
Yep.
And since then,
Just
they've been
chilling. Just
mooching around
yeah.
between 4th and 3rd with a couple of seconds. They finished second with 3-7 one year. How did they finish second with 3-7 in season 15?
You were there, weren't you?
No, that was before my time.
So I think I described this as the Aztecs travel at this rate. Yeah, they don't rebuild. It doesn't look like they rebuild. It looks like they just consistently draft and they coach, and he loves a passing game. And then we've got the rest of the division, and they go like this. yeah, we're on rebuild. Oh no, we're gonna nuke, and back up. So that Aztecs are just so they're having a good season again, on the basis that it looks like the Snow Bears and the Rapiers are having a little bit of a trouble. You look like you're a little bit softer than you have been over the past few seasons.
Oh
So,
yeah,
so this
yeah.
is going to be interesting, because if he can manage to get a result in this one, then yeah, 6-4 could be back in the house after carried a 5. What's that? 31 seasons.
Yeah. But the thing that I find amazing about this is, so I brought in Henty Career. I've built a deep zone team. Okay, I've got a quarterback with 60 strength. Okay, my O-line's not great. And I looked at the Aztecs because I was like, how is Handley? He's ahead of Henty Career and Gibb, who are both really good wide receivers. So I was like, okay, where's this guy sort of come from? I don't remember. He was picked up in pick 5 in season 37. He's got peripheral vision, so that's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
But the quarterback, he's got a 25. I think it's a 25-40-35 quarterback.
Yeah. So this is the
So
league's leading passer, right?
And it just opens him up to everything. Because realistically, 40 to 35, your short game's not going to be too much different from your long game. Yeah, you're focused on your long game, but your short game will still do the job. So it's like he could just pass the ball around everywhere, and it seems to work. It's like Todd said in one of when you guys had Todd on, he was saying if you get the right levels into the quarterback, the QSTs can work in their own right. That's why you can have a 60 quickness quarterback throw in for 5,000 yards on 20 strength, because the levels seem to impact it. And this is a great example with White, presuming White is the one that I believe he's the one that started. Yeah, he's the But 121 QBR. He's got 25 speed as well, so he can run a first down when he needs to. It just seems to, whatever he's done, it's working really well. But this is going to be a real test. This is one I'm really intrigued to see how it comes out, because I know you know how to game plan, so this is going to be interesting to see how he does against your team. But hats off to him. Like it's come a bit out of left field compared to previous seasons, and he's doing brilliantly.
Well, first of all, I very much appreciate the fact that you think I know how to game plan.
I assume. You know what they say about assumptions, right?
Yeah, exactly. What I've got to say is I don't get this at all. I don't get why if you're looking if you want a dual zone quarterback, which I completely understand, because that's I think it's really valuable, because we've seen how split QST quarterbacks can be effective as if they're high enough level.
Yeah.
But he went on the D squad from 25, 35, 40. So in my eyes, if you want to then make him, if you're going to get a move on the QSTs to make him the best dual zone quarterback he can be, and you're going to get that 5 to shift, you're going to put him to 20, 40, 40. But he didn't. He switched 5 from tech to deep zone and kept 25 on the quickness.
Yeah,
And I don't get that at all.
Yeah.
I think it's because historically, so the other quarterback he's got is he's got 2 others, but Webb has been there for 10 seasons. So he's had him since he drafted it 10 seasons, and he's the exact same QSTs as White. And I think that Ian's seen something that he liked about that, be it the like I said, an element in the run game, or he thinks that's enough in the short game, or whatever it is. I don't want to speak for him, and he's reproducing it in some manner now and seeing great success in it. And I think it's a testament to knowing how you want your team to play, like Todd said, knowing how you want your team to play and building around that idea.
What makes it even more interesting is that the fact that I don't get that at all. But the kid's got 121 quarterback rating this season, and he's throwing fucking bombs.
Yeah.
To yeah. I mean, having a receiver like Hanley is helpful for that, and it might make his stats look better. But even so, he's still the kid that's throwing it, and racking up that sort of productivity.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
Especially
Yeah.
when we've just looked at another quarterback that we know is, a good S60 QST, was on a board at level 18, has experience as well, and we see a quarterback rating of 49, and
Yep.
Yeah.
he looks completely crap against these QB rating scores and what's happening here. So yeah, very confusing.
Whatever Ian's doing there, he's doing it right.
Yeah. Blinding season.
Yeah. So this will be one of the seasons that the passing game is actually correlating to the results. So we spent many a season looking at Webb and what was the combo Webb to not was it not Corsair?
Oh God, who was it?
I should know
It
because I
was
traded him in. Pierre, was it?
no, it wasn't Pierre. Who was it? It was Petrie.
Petrie, that's it. Yeah. So they were racking up the numbers, but as we've seen, the records were always on that lower end of the 5 and 5 scale. So this one's at the moment looking good at 4 and 1.
I don't think they've ever had a good enough defense either. I think their defense is better this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 10 sacks on Lawrence already.
Yeah.
Interceptions is a weird one. I don't know how to judge. I'd prefer that was passes defended than interceptions for a ball hawk. But I get what it's trying to do. I just think passes defended is a better measure of how a team's. Yeah, like that 21 passes defended down there. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a better measure of how how they are in the passing. Like yours is at 26, so you've got a decent pass defense. But again, it's against what you faced so far, so it's you have to take it with a pinch of salt. You might not faced many throwing teams and face more running teams, and it's but yeah.
Yeah, this one's going to be a big one as well because they don't start particularly too far away from their own goal line, whereas Jez is sitting at number 2 on that one, so shorter fields.
Yep.
Spread on this is Azteks by 8 going into this one. Any big injuries for you?
Yeah, we picked up a C on Goldmeyer, which isn't good.
This dogs, is this
This
just
is
one of is this just one of your pets?
this is my dogs.
Dogs.
We haven't talked about pets for a while, have we?
I know, I did dread just bringing it back up, so
Animals.
we'll move on quickly, but I couldn't let that one go when you've got dogs with an F.
Yeah, my
It's the
dog.
same at the start.
He's in the kennels.
Yeah, so not too bad on the injury side of things.
But Goldmeyer's on a C, and he's my only running back. He's literally my only. Well, I've got a tech running back, but he's my only running back.
And he's your 40-40-20, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about that. That'll never work.
Nah.
Right, so shall we have a little go at picking some scores then? Jez, we'll let you go away first on this one.
Right.
Give me some form of measuring stick before I make numbers up, please.
Well, my defense is shit, so Aztecs are going to put up some points against us. I reckon it's going to be 34-21.
To you.
Aztecs.
Oh, Oh dear. Matt would be giving you some stick for not backing yourself.
Yeah.
All right,
No,
Alex.
not with Goldmeyer injury. He needs to be playing at the levels he's at to be effective.
I'm going to go 38-32 to the Aztecs. Sorry, Jez.
That's a better score than I've just predicted, so I'm all right with that.
All right, okay. So I'm going to go 42 to 27. And that's only based on the fact that it was 30 something points you gave up against us, wasn't it? And I consider them to have a better passing game than we do. So
Yeah.
some more points on the board there. But yeah, should be a high scoring game, I think, from that one. Right, okay. Let's have a look at this last one we put on the board here. So heroes are doing the business again this season. But it's looking at Doit again over in the CFC North, both 4 and 1. Not many points in it. Who's at home? So the heroes are at home for this one against the Barbarians. They are both bitter rivals.
Barb's D has been impressive this year.
Yeah, who have they played so far? Got that one loss against the Kings. Yeah, this was a big one, wasn't it? Week 5. This is one of those matches you go into thinking if I can get a win here in this divisional one, that could be quite useful. So yeah, 19-7.
Pretty convincing that.
Yeah, and that rushing held to 69 as well. So yeah, that's a great result for the Barbarians there going into this one. But it's a completely different game against the Heroes, right? They're still heavy pass, aren't they?
But it's the type of pass they are. It's because they play the short zone, don't they? The tech.
The tech running backs as well, yeah.
Yeah. He did. Colin did this a lot with the Giant Hornets in the Big Sky, and he's got the formula down. It works extraordinarily well. I think he does it differently in the Atlantic, but he still attacks a different area to what the Barbarians may have been facing. So
He's got the leading stacker. They've both got good pass rushing, actually.
yeah,
Wick and Wimberley.
they've both got really good defenses.
What's happening on injuries? Oh, there's a couple of Fs there. An E.
That's mostly
D.
Barbarians. Oh dear.
Yeah, Barb's have got some chunky injuries there.
Is this OT? Is this OT a starter? See Reno. So it's the right tackle. It's got the F.
That's not good news.
Nope.
Where do those injuries fall on the Barbs then?
It's a Penamon.
Tight end, inside linebacker.
Those are the only ones that are really significant.
So he's been playing 3 wide eye, so no tight ends in there. Maybe that was a switch. Based on losing the tight ends, maybe. So yeah, maybe not too big a problem.
Heroes on a spread of 2.
Yeah.
Not much in that.
Spread
Could
of
be a good
2.
game, this.
Yeah, spread of 2. Heroes at home. It's going to be an interesting one.
Minty doesn't seem to be quite at the level that he used to be, because he used to tear teams apart, but he's not putting up the same sort of numbers so far this season.
Yeah. Oh, look at that last season. Got absolutely ripped apart, didn't they? Could be similar. I go 21 to 38. Heroes taking it at home. Alix, do you wanna?
Yeah, I was thinking roughly the same, but I was going to go 24-34 in favour of the Heroes. But this is another interesting one, this one.
I'm going to go 18-21.
Ooh.
Proper defensive performances.
Right, there we go. These are the ones we've called this week, and we'll see how badly we get that wrong next time.
If I'm right, they were because I know what I'm talking about. If I'm wrong, I was trying to set Matt up for failure. So I win either way, but we'll see what the outcome is next week.
Yeah,
you're trying to summon your inner Cooper.
I don't think anybody can summon their inner Cooper or would want to summon their inner Cooper. You'd end up in a travel lodge somewhere.
In a travel lodge in a comfy pair of shorts. Right. We were going to have a little bit chat about coaching. You seem to perk up when we mention coaching, Jez. So hopefully you're not going to tell me you're having a fantastic coaching season, because mine's pretty shit.
Well, that's the thing with coaching, isn't it? It's always, you the bar goes up, Bob goes away, and you watch your game and what have you, and then as soon as you've digested that, straight away you're thinking about coaching, and it's like, right, okay, I don't know what you guys do. I have like a sort of a plan at the start of the season. These are the players that I want to coach. These are the players that I want to try and get maxed out. These are the players that so I have my players that I need to get maxed out. I have my players that I'd like to get a few levels in, and then I have other players that would be nice if they added another 1 or 2 levels. So I base my coaching around that, and I always do 5 points on or minimum of 5 points. I don't do any less than 5, because if they don't pop, then they get the extra one the next week. So it makes sense to do that from my perspective. I know some people do 2 points here, 3 points there, and spread them all out across the whole team. I never do that. I do minimum of 5, whatever I'm doing. And my kind of gauge of what a good coaching week is or isn't is that if I get 3 pops on a week, that's kind of, I consider that like par. I'm happy with that. If I get more than 3, that's a good coaching week. If I get less than 3, it's a bit, And on the odd occasion, you get no pops, which is really fucking annoying. That just makes you throw shit across the room. Thankfully, I haven't had any of that this season. I think the lowest I've had is 2, and the most I've had is 6. So, yeah, this year's it's been a good coaching year this year. But it's easier when you're coaching rookies. Younger players, they've got a higher percentage, or if you've got qualities or elites, then they've got those boosts and you can get the levels into them. But what I've also done is, as you can see, I graded in a number of quarterbacks as well, and I also picked up some vet quarterbacks from free agency.
This is fucking hilarious. Have you seen this, Alix?
No, I hadn't. See, oh,
Look at-
come
look at
on.
my-
Jesus.
Come on,
Look at
James.
that. Look at that.
Right. There's okay. Come on. There's a point. There is a point where that. I mean, who's this for a start? Which is this Whitewater, or is this a guy on the dev squad?
No. It's my dev squad guy. It's
Oh, so
it's Brown
there's,
from the dev squad.
there's one that isn't even in view. All right, okay.
Yeah, there's a ninth one.
Let's go all the way down here.
There's another one.
There reaches a point where you are saturating the experience. To be fair,
Mate, I'm playing the game.
if you, there's part of me that loves it, but I'm flabbergasted you've got that many quarterbacks. That's the most I've seen. I think I saw one once where someone had 7, and I was like, that seems a bit excessive. They didn't have a dev squad one.
That was probably Jez.
This was their style. This was in the big
So
sky.
I did this a few years ago when I think it was a few seasons into coming into the Atlantic or something. I tried this out and I wrote an article. I wrote a couple of articles about it at the time. It was like quarterback school or something like that. And on the basis that you load up and at that time I did a nuke rebuild. So I had loads of spaces on my roster that I could fill with, aging quarterbacks that didn't have to be a high level. They could be level 8 or level 9 or something like, or even level 7. But if they were age 8 or 9 or something like that, then they provide pops for a rookie quarterback or the opportunity for pops for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
And so whenever you get an offensive pop on coaching, there's then a 10% chance that you're going to get a quarterback, an understudy quarterback pop on one of your quarterbacks.
If the quarterback passes the criteria, which is that their age plus half level has to be more than the understudy they could understudy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's right.
The reason I say you're diluting it is there's a chance that Whitewater could get hit instead of your guy on dev squad.
Yeah, absolutely. But it goes through the whole kind of that might be a flaw in my plan there, although Whitewater's not had any pops so far this year, which is good, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
I get the logic behind it. I know what you're going for.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the outcome. It's interesting. If you could dig that article out and send it to me, I'd love to read that. Because I thought about that with Dev Squad Stew last year. I was like, is it worth me bringing in players? But when I went through the numbers and worked it all out obviously I didn't trade in load of players, so you may have been trading in load of like more semi-decent high level, but when I say high level, we're talking like 8 and age 9, where people are just like, get rid of that, and you're like, actually that's really going to help me. And when I worked out the numbers, I saturated Stu by like week 3 with the players I had, and it was like, okay, it's just not going to do anything now unless I've got like a level 20 age 9, which I didn't have. So
yeah,
I'd love to see the math on it, but yeah, that's the other side of it is your churn is going to be huge when you get rid of all 15 of those quarterbacks. You're starting on such a low point for your churn because you've got to clear them out.
The churn doesn't matter because the churn only matters about players you bring in, not players you drop out.
Yeah, but if you get rid of 15 players, you have to replace 15 players on a 49-man squad, even if you go for the minimum of 49.
Yeah.
So you've got 15 extra players you need to bring in, which means you either draft them, obviously, or you bring them in via the trades, which if you bring them in via trades, and don't drafted players count towards the churn as well as traded players?
Yeah, both do. But as you can see there, 5 of those quarterbacks came off the free agency.
Yeah. So
they were all added.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm obviously not going to say any levels at this point in the season,
No.
but
I wouldn't expect you to.
but already I can't coach Brown anymore.
Yeah. And for week 6, that's
So-
fantastic. So
And
I get what you've done.
and he's elite, so that means he's popped at least 6 levels. By this point in the season. So there's no guarantee that you're, like you're saying, there's no guarantee that your pops are going to come, because there are there's quarterbacks within that lot there that have popped as well.
Yeah.
That I don't want them to pop, but I'm all right with them popping because that puts them up another level, and that might mean that I keep them into next season to try and pop Brown a bit more.
Yeah.
Or not, as the case may be.
Yeah.
But it's I've done it a couple of times now, and it's worked really well for me.
So
And that's what matters, isn't it? Really? Sorry,
so in
go on.
total, so far, how many understudies have you got this season, Jez? Are you willing to
How many
reveal that?
understudy pops?
Mhm.
Let's have a look.
This is probably going to be larger than my just pops in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just why he's got a smile on his face when he's talking about coaching, because he's got more than anybody's got just by his understudies.
No, it's not. I've been fortunate they've fallen in the right areas for me, to the right players. I've had.
What, your wide receivers? Oh.
That's abusing the understudy system.
Yeah.
No, I've had 4 understudy pops this season.
4 understudy pops.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay.
Because the thing is that if you push the riches on, and I think you did last time, because it was like a lot of talk about this understudy pop, and squads with like reams of experienced quarterbacks. It's like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And so you come on each time and go, well, I've got 20 quarterbacks in my squad, and I'm getting loads of understudy pops. So I think it does work. So it's funny.
But so I'm doing it with. I'm not sacrificing other areas of the roster. I've got a full roster everywhere else. So I can put out a full team, and I'm competitive. I'm challenging. So it's not like I'm crapping out everywhere else, and for the sake of just loading up loads of quarterbacks, and that's the only thing I'm doing. It's not.
Not this time.
This is not this time. No, but so it's just something that I'm doing like as an extra. Like in the off season, when I was looking at the makeup of my roster, I paid attention to the areas of the roster where I thought I needed to first, and then when all of that was in place, then I looked at, okay, what places have I got left? Can I stick a few vet quarterbacks in there to try and get a few extra pops on the quarterbacks? Because I was bringing in a rookie quarterback. I thought, let's try and do that.
See, I when I took over, the Sharks had some aging quarterbacks. They had Scardino, who was, he came in season 28, and he retired this off season, and he got all of my pops on Stewart, and I think one went on to King by mistake. It was either King or the other guy that I've got, Johnston. I can't remember, but I got 4 across the entire season with just Scardino and some other old fella. I can't remember his name now. he left, and I can't remember which one it was, but I got it just off of that. So, like, I get the idea, and I agree with the idea. You're trying to maximize the opportunity. Yeah, they can't all accumulate in like pushing something beyond the boundaries of what's acceptable within the logic, but you've maximized the opportunities with the amount that you have there, and that makes sense to me. I do think it's a little bit excessive, but if it works for you, that's brilliant.
Oh, don't get me wrong, it's odd, and it's nothing like you would ever see in any NFL franchise. It's completely kind of out of kilter with with the game as such. But within the game that we're playing, it's part of the code. It's part of the math.
Mechanics. Yeah, it's
If
the mechanics.
you look at it,
But
so
there is an element of, I think, although the logic sounds right, there still is an element of, have you got your lucky socks on, and have you rubbed your rabbit's foot
oh yeah,
3 times and swung it around your head and got
well
your
that's
little
coaching
pants
full
on?
stop, isn't it?
Well,
Oh, well,
a
yeah,
little bit,
yeah,
a little bit. But yeah,
yeah.
best season I ever had with understudies was a quarterback picked up 4, and the best thing about it was he picked them up off of a quarterback called Skywalker. So
So you retired him as Master Skywalker, and now he's on your squad as the coach.
so it was
He's
funny.
the quarterback coach.
You had him in Jedi school.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'd like it if there was an element of, if you had someone like that did pop understudy things. I wish it would increase their chance to become like a quarterback coach. I just think it would be a really nice touch. Like if you had someone who regularly ticked that box and it happened, just bring them. They get more of a chance to, when they retire, come in as a quarterback coach. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Before we move on from quarterbacks, though, I do have to ask.
Stuart.
So, yeah, Stuart. So, the little bit of research I did on that was that
Yep.
he went 15 on the QST change. So, did you get extremely lucky with? Did you just dev squad him right at the front, and then all of a sudden he
Yep.
just kept going?
So I knew what I wanted to do with Stuart, and I don't care about throwing points at it. So I put him on the dev squad, and I immediately spent every single week from the pre-season through to like week 7, I think it was, to I spent 10 coaching points just on that, and I was like, that's what I want. That's what will get me. Gets him an extra level. He got the understudy pops as well, and he was, it all went perfectly, swimmingly. I was like, lovely, that's gone well. So I got to 55, and I stopped because I didn't click it again, and he just kept getting the dev squad spot, and I was like, okay, that's lucky. And then it reached a point we were going, I think I needed like one more, and I was like, could I get to? Is it possible to get to 60? And I looked at the things, I was like, well, there's nothing that says it can't do it. It just says that it costs X amount to go up to 65. It doesn't say 60. So if you can get 12 across all of the coaching, then
Yeah.
it can do it. And I can't remember what week it was, but it did it. So I moved him to 60, and I was like, well, that's worked out lovely. That's gone swimmingly. And then I started thinking about it, I was like, what are the odds on that actually happening? Like, because the dev squad's like, what is it? It's like, in every one, it's like 10% or something. There's a chance, or however many percent chance of it popping.
The understudy pops.
No, on the
Oh, for the dev squad.
just a standard dev squad. And every time you have a success, there's a chance that the dev squad will get a dev
It's
squad.
25% if they're over a certain level.
Yeah.
Okay.
So under level 7 or level 8, it's a little bit higher than that, but after that, it's 25%. So yeah, no, that's. I mean, to get. So you went from week 8 then through to week 13, which would be the other opportunities. So 5 more weeks, and you managed to get another 4, was it?
Yeah, it was 6 because it was from week 7 because I got the 8 in pre-season to week 7 got me the 8, and then so 6 weeks. There was 6 opportunities basically. And I'm the same as Jez. I put 5 on, minimum 5. And I wasn't focusing an area last year. So it was 5 on all the positions. I think I was focused more offense than defense last year. I can't remember fully. But so you get that extra opportunity if it hasn't the week before with it. So you get that extra 1 CP that something could happen with. I just got incredibly lucky because it could have gone the flip side. It could have gone on. I had a defensive tackle on the dev squad as well, and if it had gone on to him, I'd have been right up shit creek because I'd done 10 points on him, and I'd had to use 5 weeks. He'd gone up to the 65 I wanted, and anything after that is just a waste. So I think 1 week it popped on him, and I was like, oh god, please don't do this. This is not what I want. So, but
Did he go 2 levels as well?
No.
No.
I don't remember him going 2 levels because I'm pretty sure you can only gain a maximum of 1 for when it hits 6.
Yeah,
I
because
don't remember him going
I
a
wasn't
level.
sure if it was like a multiple of 6s. So if you rolled over to 12, whether.
Well, it's capped on the maximum they can do. I'm pretty sure it's the maximum they can do +1 as a dev squad. They can get 1 extra as a dev squad, and then it might be +1 as an understudy as well. I'm trying to remember, but if the understudies come during the first, say their quality, it goes in the first 5, then it doesn't count. But if it's after, I think they can get an extra 1.
Oh, you can
I
get.
don't know.
I don't think there's a cap on the understudies unless that's something new that's coming. But yeah,
Probably not. It was.
No.
I'm trying to
ideally,
remember when.
There's no cap
you
on the
wanna,
understudies, I don't think.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
ideally coaching wise, you want to coach him and
Yeah.
get 5 pops, and then all the
Yeah.
understudies come after that.
Yeah.
But if
That didn't happen for me.
if you get 2 understudies, you coach 3. You can't coach another.
Yeah,
2
gotcha.
levels, and from that point. But yeah, but no, that's interesting because it got me reading the rules again because I was like, there's no way you can do 15. That must be a bug. And then it was like, no, you can. You just can buy them up to 8.
Yeah.
But after that, they can still land on him, but you just can't buy them anymore. So that's
Yeah.
You can buy 9, I think. I think you can buy 9,
9, yeah.
and then that's it.
Yeah.
The other thing is it can't happen with. It wouldn't happen with other positions because there's a cost increase. Obviously, it costs 5 on certain positions, so it's only really a quarterback that you could probably get that lucky with to do 15. It's not. I don't think you can do it with. I'm trying to remember if you could do it with wide receivers if you wanted to get them up. They might use 4, so you might be able to do it with wide receivers.
Yeah, there's no extras for getting up to an 80. It's just the 65 on the
on
the
a
DEs
lineman.
and the OTs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I just got incredibly lucky.
Nice.
And it's part. I don't know. I really like that guy. Now I liked him in the draft because that's why I reached for him in the draft because I just liked the attributes and plus the free leadership. I thought would come in very 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 handy in certain positions. And then so I put him on the dev squad. Like I said, I was aiming for 55, and it just kept clicking. So not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm going to accept that. Lovely jubbly. Stick him in the lineup. He's doing a decent job. If he had a decent O line, he'd be a lot higher up, and Henty Career would have more catches, I think. But yeah, the O line is a work in progress. It's going to take me a bit longer to sort that out. But
yeah, no, I thought I didn't think the quarterback was a reach because you picked him up early 2nd round, didn't you?
Yeah, I think he was like picked.
Yeah, I didn't.
2.
He was one of the ones I was considering and taking in one of those last picks I had in the first, but the problem I had was I knew I had 12 picks and I didn't have enough to do anything special coaching wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean for Gibb, I mean he went from a 70Q to an 80Q on the dev squad, and I think I maybe paid for one of those because again he just kept going on the on the luck scale. So yeah, it was one of those ones. No, but interesting.
I think a lot of people say they think a lot. I know that the general consensus is that spending the 10 on the dev squad is more of a waste because you're sacrificing a lot for that. But I think with the way that I've done this rebuild, I was in that sort of position where I could, because I was doing more focused leveling on certain positions. It didn't matter that if I was missing the 1 or 2 players, I could use that extra 5 or extra 10, put it on the dev squad and not have to worry about it. I think my defense is paying for it now in a lot of positions. I think like my outside linebackers they're really struggling. I just cannot seem to get them to pop. But again, that comes down to the coaches I've brought in as well. The coaches I've brought in, they're more tailored to the D line and the O. I've brought in strong O line, and I'm not really getting the pops on the O line I would like outside of one position. But it's a tough, like you have to sacrifice something, don't you? When you bring in coaches, you've only got so many of the points or the whatever it's called that you can spend. So you're like, what do you sacrifice? Where do you do it? And I knew what I wanted to, so I just went in with a plan. I didn't have what Jez has got, which is a plan of who I was targeting to level where. I had a rough idea of where my weaknesses were and what I wanted to focus on. So that's where I've kind of gone with my coaching. But the linebackers I'm just struggling with a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good point actually, because I had a little look at the cost of coaches, because there is one of these, isn't there, that here we go, best paid staff.
Yeah.
And you can see here, whew, we have one coach at the Stampede that's getting paid even more than a motivation coach does.
Cool.
So that's,
But that's his wide receiver or running back coach. Probably running back if I was to guess based on Matt's team, but that's the value of them. It's a level 10, 60 in that position. It's the best he can get in that area. So I mean, for me, it's funny really. I look at that and there's offense, motivation. I'm one of two that the highest paid is my athletic trainer, but he's level 14. So I was like, I'll take that. I'll pay a little bit over the odds. And I've had one big injury all season in 6 games, and I'm watching teams fall apart because their teams are melting. So I'm quite happy to pay that. My average on positions is about probably 20, 15 to 20 that I'm paying on some. So yeah, it cost me a little bit in terms of the coaching side, but I'm still seeing. Oh, I've got a 25. I've just seen him now on the offense. Forgot about that guy. I forgot he existed.
He's your O-line coach.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this and thinking,
paid too much.
I'm looking at this and think to myself, well, maybe that's why I'm not getting any decent pops this season. But
yeah, there's none of our coaches on there, Greg.
Yeah, it's a massive struggle.
But you can't everyone's competing for the same thing. Everyone wants the 60-20-20, the 20-60-20, depending on what they need in, offense, defense, whatever. So you have to. I've sacked 4 coaches this season because I realised I was overpaying. So I'd sign them at like the first week. I think I had one on 30. I think I had 2 on 25 and another 2 on 20. And what came afterwards, I was like, hang on, I could pick these up for 5 less, and that would give me better or more I can spend on such and such. So dilute a little bit to spend over in a different area, but that improves that other area, trying to give me more of a broad spectrum of leveling rather than it all be on one area. And it seems to be working all right. Like I'm not having the success that Jez is having in pops, but I'm definitely not down in the dumps like Greg is. So I'm kind of in the middle. Like my season's doing all right, I think. It's just not doing as well as what it had done previously. But I had 2 years where this team was so shit. I was training up like level 5s who were, popping left, right, and centre because like they're level 5, so they find it easier to pop. So, but yeah, it's a side of the game that I think sometimes goes amiss. Just how much influence you can actually have over the coaching. Like some people are just like, I just put the numbers in and it's up to the gods. It's like, yeah, that's mostly true, but there's still stuff you can do. There's still improvements you can make. Like if you really want that wide receiver to be as good as that wide receiver could be, you get your offensive coordinator leaning that way, and you get the best damn offensive coach you can in that sort of style.
Yeah.
And then you
just start sacrificing larger cows and things like that as you get to this kind of time, and you're like, I've only got
Yeah.
4 coaching weeks left, and I definitely need to get 5 levels into this guy.
But it's not
Uh,
4 coaching weeks though, Greg, is there? Because there's still the you might only get like you're not going to get first win bonus,
oh no,
so
definitely
you're not going to get the off season, but you still get like what is it, 30 on each side of the ball, or was it 20?
not. 10.
Oh, was it 10? Oh, all right, you're fucked, mate. You may as well give up the season now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But
So
just
yeah,
going back to that, your staff do have a massive influence on the coaching.
Yeah.
So it's that bun fight for staff at the start of the season is so important. It's
Yeah.
massively important, and you can with the head coach oversight element, you can afford to have one shit coach. I mean, you're not necessarily going to be coaching all of the areas of your roster. And ideally, you don't want to be coaching all of the areas of your roster. You want to be coaching on like 80% of them, so you can focus on bringing in coaches that are going to be good to coach those areas.
Exactly.
And you can afford to have one shit coach, one level 5, one level 4 coach that's got maybe good QST, but it's only level 5, level 4, and then load him with the head coach oversight so that he's coaching at level 8 or level 9. And then the rest of them are doing their job. So but it is really important. That's why it's that bun fight for the staff that you want at the start of the season is like you get to week pre-season, week 1, week 2, and after looking at your game, you then straight going to see right which new staff have I managed to get
Yeah.
on board, and how we're going to work that.
See, I've got on my offense, I've got 2 5s, a 6, a 10, and an 8. And the 10 and the 8 are the O-line specialists, and everything else is just, it's all right. And if I get a pop in that, I'm happy. If I don't get a pop in
Yeah.
that, it's weighing it up. Like, was it worth the sacrifice? As long as, like, I've made it abundantly clear my O-line is a problem. So that for me is like where I need to focus. So everything else is like, I'm happy with Henty career where he's at and what he can do. He shows that in the games I play him in. So I'm just going to let him ride and sort the rest of the shit out so that I can have a decent team. And each week I decide, do I have a running back I want to focus on? The main person who suffered in this is McNeely, the guy that I brought in at pick 5 this year, the running back. He's really struggling. And that's because I've got a level 5 running back coach and I can't cover everything. But I've got a decent running back that I trained up last year. That pick 5, that's the only pick out of all of the picks I've ever done that I actually regret. And that was just because he was the best that was there. And maybe I should have just traded him out almost immediately because I didn't need it. So it feels like a waste. And I'm not in a position where I have luxury. What I should have done was picked up, the wide receiver you picked up, Jez, the one that had the high level QSTs didn't really matter because you were going to pay him like as the pistol in the slot.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense than picking up the running back. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, and we all evaluate as the year goes on, don't we? So, but
What's even worse is when you've got a really good member of staff in that area, and that player still won't pop. You put in 5 in, sometimes you put 10 in or even 15 onto him, and then the fucker still won't pop.
Yep.
That's really fucking annoying.
Yep. Well, that's what's going on with my O-line at the minute, but that's a different conversation.
But that happens. That happens to all of us at some point.
It's infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating.
So let's move on from that. We'll just finish off last sort of 5 minutes. We've got the tables there. Looking as you expected from the start of the season. Any shocks? We've talked about the Azteks being a bit of in a shock nosebleed position. Any other ones there that you think that's looking weird?
Blues are a bit of a shock. I think they've fallen off massively by the look of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not surprised about the Sonics. The Sonics, Bill was building a decent young Sonics team there that Tad's taken over and is doing well with. So, not surprised that they're doing well, but I thought the Blues would. Well, the Blues have dominated that division for so long that it's odd to see them at 1-4.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that the Comets aren't doing better than 1-4 as well. I think Bob might be surprised at that also, but I thought they would be challenging. So
I think for me, the one that stands out the most is just how competitive the MFC West has become.
yeah,
I knew the Razorbacks they were going to be excellent, but the leap the Mariners, the Bay Bears, and the Nighthawks have all taken at the same time is quite interesting to see. The Azteks playing as well as they are, I think is impressive as well. Outside of that, I'm not sure. The CFC East is pretty. It's the same now as it finished last year, so I think that'll just continue.
Yeah, there hasn't been as many shocks on the CFC side for me. Maybe the Generals sitting at 2 and 3 at this point, maybe. But yeah, the MFC East is looking very lopsided with just one team there on 4 and 1. Yeah, timing is everything when it comes to rebuilds, and it looks like 3 of those teams sitting in there starting to come up now all at the same time, so it's going to be an interesting few seasons down there for sure.
Barbarians have impressed this season as well. They're one of these teams that have threatened to challenge for a few seasons now, and for whatever reason haven't made it. But they're looking like that they've got a real chance this year.
Yeah. I think it was a trade that me and Rich put through, and he was just saying, he goes, just swapping some notes, and he said, he was thinking about pushing a button, but he looked at his schedule and thought, do you know what, this is the best it's looked like for a long time. I think I might have a chance. So he just held off, and has bought in a few extra pieces, and it seems to be paying off this season. So, but again, halfway, depending on that schedule, it's quite easy for those schedules to be pretty soft to start with or hard to start with, and then it's completely flips. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of it plays out.
I'd love that to happen. I'd love to have an easy schedule at any point.
Yeah, you're in the wrong division for that, Alex.
Do you think if I petition hard enough, they'll move me to a different division?
Yeah, if you're lucky, they'll stick you in the AFC West up in the GFL with the Wraiths, the Slingers.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the challenge, but it is, every year I'm probably playing the Stampede twice and the Avalanche twice, or at least between the pair of them 3 times, and there seems to be no sign of them waning anytime soon. So I'm just going to have to try and steal points off them when I can.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping I can do, but we'll see. Dave, I feel sorry for. He seems to have avoided the injuries this year, but it's just nothing's gone his way.
Oh yeah, let's have a quick look at that one, because that one made me laugh. Did you see this game, Magpies against Scorpions? Did you see this?
I did.
This is just atrocious. Look at that.
Whoa!
Do you know the worst part about the Magpies one? About 6 of those injuries came when they played against Matt and me. We just absolutely they came to our division and just they didn't leave with their legs still on. Let's put it like that.
Look, Lobley's got an F and an E.
Yeah.
Gibson's got a C and a D.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's
Vanken's got an E and a C. As if an E isn't good enough.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's
Jesus.
definitely more quarter zone shots and people just walking around on crutches on the sideline than there will be on the pitch for this game. It's just hilarious. Anyway, right.
Magpies have got 30 injury levels. Scorpions have got 26. Meerkats have got 23. Jesus,
That's insane.
Yeah.
that's a lot.
That's
Yeah.
why I pay 27 for my athletic trainer, because
Yeah.
he avoids all this.
There you go.
Not to worry.
The walking wounded bowl, as Gary's called it this time around.
Yeah, that's about
He's
right.
nailed that. Are they bitter rivals? Can we get that as like
I
a
think
gushing up?
they probably are.
They're going to
When
smash
you
each
see-
other up, are they? Oh, they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. This
Jesus,
is
they're
it.
going to get more.
When they're divisional rivals and they're in this state in terms of injuries, it should just literally say that this is the walking wounded bowl. It has to, because it's
yeah.
just.
They're just running around tipping over wheelchairs at this point, aren't they?
Oh dear, it's very mean.
They are all Trevor Lawrence at this point, aren't they?
Oh, don't let's not talk about that headbutt. That was oof.
Oh yeah, that was ugly. That was ugly.
That's the
Right.
first time in a match that I've actually felt a bit ill watching something. So.
That was nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
I'll let you finish.
On that happy note, we'll finish off and hope that Mr. Lawrence doesn't have a G injury, because that would be not good. Right. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate your time.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck to everyone this week.